Sarah Blau, autrice in Italian, autrice di Le Altre, edito da PIEMME. Sarah, where did the idea for the book come from? Is there an event or something that inspired you?
Well, I must say that I 50, and when I started writing the book, I was 43, 42, and I didn't have children. And I wanted to write about this topic because I thought it was important to me, and I thought it's important to everyone. And this is why I wrote about it. I felt like in Israel, women who don't have children are very rare because I think most of the Israeli women has children. So I wanted to talk and tell about my experience, and I thought it was important.
Yeah. So, the central theme of the book revolves around the theme of motherhood and of various ideas or rather stereotypes of the same. It almost seems that every character in the book interpret this idea. Some live in the light of religion percept to be satisfied. Some as choice, some as sentences. Am I wrong? What can you tell us about it?
About the reasons
women don't have... the theme, the stereotype of the motherhood.
Well, stereotype. First, it was very important to me that this book is not stereotype. Usually, there is a stereotype of women who don't have children, like she's lonely, maybe she's not good-hearted. Maybe she does not love children. Maybe there was something traumatic in her past. Maybe, like a huge reason. For me, that was very important that you don't need the big reason.
Yeah.
And it was also very important to me. I didn't write a memoir or some personal memories of me. I wrote a thriller, a psychological thriller, because I tell you the truth, I want as many people to read it. I want it to be popular, and it was in Israel. I'll be honest with you, I start writing a personal book about my life, and it was too difficult to me. I felt like I cannot be honest. And when I wrote about someone who is not me, her name is Sheila, she worked in a Bible museum, it was much easier to me to be honest. And I wanted to be honest in this book. I needed to be honest in this book. And this is how I did it.
What was my impression at the end of the book is that the deepest and true side of motherhood, which is most suffocated, is that this as a natural fact for a woman, not as a destiny to be resigned to, but as a inner question in the relationship with the other, that is part of the human nature. A question that even Sheila somehow answered towards Gali. At the end of the book, is my impression. Do you think that this is a wrong interpretation?
I think it's very interesting that you think of the relationship of Sheila and Gali, because Sheila is like a mini mother to Gali. A very dark mini mother. And you take me to the last sentence of the book. The book, actually, I wrote the whole book for this last sentence. And the last sentence of the book is, there are all kinds of relationship. There are all kinds of love. Sometimes you look at women with no children like there's something unnatural, that they're not capable of love, that they're narcissists, they're egoists. And I think it's not true. Second, it's not true, and third, it's not true.
Okay.
For me, I wrote the whole book to show that there are a lot of kind of way you choose to live your life. It's not everything ideological. I mean, today, women who choose not to have children, like it's something very ideological. But no, sometimes it just, life happens. It happens. You don't have to be super aware. And it was also important to me to write a book like that, which is not exactly ideologically. You can understand it by the lines, through the lines. I didn't give lectures. I just wrote a book. I wanted the reader to identify with Sheila and to love her. And wow, I remember myself the moment, the time I wrote this book. So this is it was for me.
Yeah. Women who are the protagonists of this book seem almost suspended in a past that changed them and from which they come out artificially. Somehow only Sheila survives because she remains consistent with her university idea. In which of the characters do you reflect the most? Which do you think you had the most complete story arc? What did she learn from them?
Wow, tough one. I think the most difficult was Dina. She was like the big feminist, the one that have a lot of. She was ideological. She chose not to have children. Although there was something that not exactly, if you read the book, you understand. Look, for me, as I told you before, it's a book not just about not having children, it's a book about female friendship and loyalty and getting more and more not exactly getting old, but the year passed, and a second. I just start again because I was confused. Who is this? Some
Is the Minister of Defense, Italian Minister of Defense.
Okay, so I start again.
Yeah.
Okay. For me,
I don't repeat the case.
Okay, we cut this.
Okay.
You cut. Okay. For me, the book was not just about women who don't want to have children. It's about a friendship, female friendship, loyalty, the way you choose to live your life. So for me, I think Dina was the most difficult to write and deal with, because she is like almost a stereotype of the feminist, of the lecturer in the university. Actually, I can tell you now, I didn't like Dina. It was hard to me to write her, but I felt like there is no just one kind of women who don't want to have children. It was very important to me to take a few women. All one of them is special, and now I remember it wasn't easy, right? This book, and now I feel like I have the
What did
consciousness.
she learn from them?
What?
Which you think that the most complete story arc?
Yeah,
What did she learn from them?
I know. I answered with Dina.
Yeah. No, the Dina, no. Okay. Because Dina and the other are outcome of the ancient idea artificially.
Yes.
But Sheila remain constant with their idea.
Sheila, well, I can say it very honestly.
Currents.
Sheila
is current.
Sheila is me.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest with you.
Okay.
I think almost every author writes the main character, usually itself. It was also very important to me to write Sheila. I wrote a lot about the women from the Bible who decided not to have children. Like Miriam, the prophetess, Lilith, the witch from Endor, Michal, the wife of King David. And for me, Sheila, I compare her to the witch of Endor. A biblical woman who decided not to have children. For me, I don't know how it is in Italy, but in Israel, there are not many women in my age who don't have children. And sometimes they look at us like we're a witch, something out there, not maybe a little dangerous, maybe. So it was very important.
Like a stereotype.
Yeah,
they have fear
exactly.
of stereotypes.
Yeah, like the woman alone, she's a danger, who knows what she's going to do, she's not normal. And it was very important to me to try to talk with that stereotype and maybe make it to show it's not true. So that's why I wrote it.
How was the reception of your book?
What?
Did you spark a debate, and what ideas have emerged?
What the word?
How was the reception of your book? Did you spark a debate, and what ideas have emerged?
In Israel, it was the first novel who talked about this subject. So of course it was made a huge noise. I thought also that it was loved, not just by, of course, more by women, but I think they thought, okay, someone write about it and put the subject, put it out there, and it wasn't. I didn't think that's what was going to happen. I think maybe it was not easy the biblical subject. But I think, we think now we talk about a modern phenomenon, women who don't want to have children, but I think in the Bible you can find everything. Each modern topic have much deeper roots. So that's why I chose to write about it.
That's two questions. A trait that emerged throughout the book seems to be a criticism of a certain way of living religion. On the one hand, as a set of social precepts and conventions. On the other, has a condemnation for those who do not follow the letter of custom and tradition, and are labeled for this, up to condemnation of which. What message do you want to send to those who live religion and its rules in this way?
Look,
without honest, who live in the religion like a stereotype, only like a tradition, and not for really.
It's a good point. It's part of me. Look, first, I don't want to have lectures. I mean, for me, the story should talk by itself. But it's right that Sheila is a religion, a religious light. It's part of her life. I tell you about myself, when I was younger, I was more religious. All I did those things, the ceremonies was something that I did, but I didn't really believe. Now that I'm less religious, I don't do all the ceremonies and all the practice. When I was young, I did all the practice, but I had no faith in my heart. And today that I do less practice, but I believe much more. I do think that Sheila, because she's a religious, the fact that she has no children is something that does not happen. Because Israel almost every, Israel is we have a lot of children in Israel. And it's very rare, as I said, women in my age who don't have children. But I wrote it because I want to show that first it's possible. You do it and you're a normal woman, you're not a witch and you're not something subnormal, and also religious. again, which is very rare. I don't like stereotypes. I mean, maybe Sheila, my main character, maybe it was more reasonable if she wasn't religious, because most of the women who don't have children in Israel are secular, they're not religious. But here I am, and I'm very rare, but it happens. So it was very important to me not to fall into the trap of stereotype.
Yeah. Last question. Men don't make a good impression.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you poor thing.
No. Will it save anyone inside the book? And what advice could you give us men to be next to a woman in this journey, parenthood, which should not live as individual but together?
Look, I mean, when you say men does not make a good, men don't make a good impression, there are two strong male characters. One who does a very poor impression is Micha, the young man that she fell in love to. Maybe he is the child she didn't have. But he's not a nice guy. He does not treat her nicely.
Yeah.
So he make a very bad impression. But the other one, Ellie, why doesn't make a good impression? I like him.
Yeah, as a friend, yes.
As a friend, yes.
He's a good friend.
But what's wrong with being a good friend?
He's not
her guy. Okay, but he's a very good friend.
Yeah. Only for this. I'm also in Italian traduction. Italian type.
What's wrong with that? I'll tell you that the man, the one that I based Ellie's character. He thought that he's made a very good
in Italian come si dice sfigato? Sfigato.
Trustworthy. Trustworthy friend. Trustworthy
It's only friend. In Italian, this is a stereotype. It's only a friend. Yeah.
Just a
friend.
It's just a friend. But only friend. So just only. Not.
I understand.
Yeah.
He liked her. She didn't like him. But I think, you know what? During life, you understand that be a loyal friend and a good friend. It's important. Almost, not almost. Maybe more important than being the lover that lead you on. I'm sorry, I sound bitter. I have a reason.
Yeah.
I like Ellie's character, and I didn't like Micha's character. You know what?
Yeah,
if Sheila didn't want to have children, but if she had to, she wanted to do it with Ellie and not with Micha.
Yeah.
But she didn't.
No, but okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And you.